Is your bike ready to ride? Will it perform the way it should? If not, it might leave you stranded, your repair or maintenance costs might go way up, or it might not even be safe to ride.
Do a pre-ride check. We call it Clocs.
T for tires and wheels. Your tires provide the grip you need for accelerating, braking, and cornering. And because motorcycles lean, the tires experience tremendous stresses. Tires are very important parts of your motorcycle, and you really need to maintain them to stay safe. So check the condition of your tires, inspecting tread depth and looking for uneven wear, and seeing if there's anything that could cause a flat. Ideally, check air pressure before every ride. Check the pressure when cool before you ride and set it to the numbers listed in your owner's manual or on the side of the bike, usually between 30 and 40 psi. Don't use the maximum pressure listed on the tire's sidewall, which is probably not the correct pressure for your motorcycle. Having the incorrect tire pressure can cause a blowout, can cause poor handling and ride, and can even cost you money with bad fuel economy and shorter tire life. Your wheels are important too. If your bike has spokes, make sure they're in good shape and properly tightened with a spoke wrench. You should hear a ping when you tap each one, not a thud. Whichever type of wheels you have, look for any damage and spin them to see if they're bent in any way. You might need to visit a wheel straightening service recommended by the manufacturer or a dealership. Check the wheel seals for cracks or excessive grease, and make certain the bearings don't have free play. First, make sure the bike is stable. Then grab the top and bottom of the tire and flex it back and forth. If you feel any free play, take it in for service. Next, check the brakes with a good squeeze and press while rolling the bike forward. If your brakes don't work perfectly, get them serviced.
C for controls. The controls on your motorcycle are important for steering, accelerating, shifting, and braking, making the motorcycle do what you want it to do. Check the condition of your handlebars, making sure they're on tight, that they're straight, turn freely, and that the hand grips are secure. Operate all the levers and pedals, making sure they work smoothly. Adjust the position for the most comfort and control. Check the cables for any fraying and lubricate them as recommended for smooth action. Look at any hydraulic hoses for any cracks, leaks, bulges, or signs of age. Make sure the cables and hoses don't have any bad kinks or sharp angles. It's very important to make sure the throttle moves freely and snaps fully closed with the handlebar in any position. If it doesn't, there might be a problem with the throttle grip or the cable routing, which could lead to your throttle getting stuck in the wide open position. Not fun, and certainly not safe.
L for lights and electrics. On many motorcycles, electrical wiring and parts are more out in the open, not undercover like with a car, and therefore they're more likely to suffer from wear, tear, and rust. So inspect the battery terminals to make sure they're clean. If you don't have a sealed battery, check the electrolyte levels and add distilled water as needed. Every so often, check the wiring for any fraying, chafing, or missing insulation. Wires shouldn't be pinched. Connectors should be tight and clean. Check that your headlight, high beam, low beam, tail light, and brake light all work as they should. Same for the turn signals and the engine cutoff switch. You might want to carry spare fuses for an easy roadside fix. And make sure your headlight is aimed correctly to give you the best view of the road at night, not too high or low. Your owner's manual or a professional can help with this. Your motorcycle lights help others see you. Make sure that you can easily see all around by checking that the mirrors are clean, tight, and properly adjusted.
O for oil and other fluids. Some of the oils and fluids in your motorcycle are responsible for making the engine and other parts of the drivetrain run smooth and cool by reducing friction and heat. Special fluids are used if your bike has a hydraulic braking system. Always make sure there's enough oil in the engine before starting it, or you could cost yourself a lot of money. Check the level as directed in the owner's manual, usually when the engine is warm with the dipstick or sight glass, with the bike upright, and add oil as needed. Make sure to change the oil and the filter on schedule or even more frequently than what your manual says. Oil is the lifeblood of internal combustion engines, and old or low-quality oils can accelerate engine wear. Take a glance at your brake fluid levels too, and follow the owner's manual directions on checking or replacing any transmission oil or shaft drive fluid. If you have a liquid-cooled engine, check the coolant level as directed in the owner's manual. Never open the radiator cap when the engine is hot. All of these fluids need to be changed periodically because they deteriorate with age. Fresh fluids do their job better than old fluids. And of course, before and during a ride, you really want to know exactly how much fuel you have on board so you don't run out miles from a gas station. Use a quality fuel and check octane requirements in your owner's manual. You want the freshest possible fuel in your bike, as gasoline can begin to go bad after several weeks and clog your fuel system. If you've got an electric motorcycle, make sure it's charged enough for your ride, and know where the next charging station is if you'll need one on your journey.
C for chassis. Your motorcycle's chassis or frame is what the engine and suspension are mounted to. And you do need to check all these parts, plus whatever type of drivetrain your bike uses to send power from the engine to the rear wheel. Most motorcycles use a chain to deliver that power, and it's important to have the right tension or chain slack. Just about anyone can check the tension and lubricate the chain, following directions in the owner's manual and being extra careful not to get any lube on the rear tire. However, adjusting the chain or a drive belt involves some careful wrenching, so make sure you have the tools and ability or have a professional do it for you. Also check the drive chain or belt for stretching and wear following your owner's manual. If you have a chain, make sure that the links aren't binding and that the sprockets aren't worn out and hooked. Some motorcycles use a drive shaft, which needs no periodic adjustment but does need the occasional fluid check and replacement. Compress the suspension front and rear. You should not feel any binding or creaking, just smooth operation. Many modern forks and shocks are adjustable for a rider's weight and riding style, but they shouldn't be too stiff or too soft. Follow the owner's manual or have a professional help you get the best settings. The steering head and the swing arm should work smoothly too. They should move freely, but bearings and bushings should not have too much play. It helps to have a center stand or another way to prop up the bike. And feel for any looseness front and rear. You'll need the right tools and abilities to properly tighten up the components or get a professional to help out. A couple things that anyone can do are scanning the frame for any cracks or lifting paint that could indicate a big problem. And also checking nuts, bolts, and screws, all the fasteners, making sure nothing's loose.
Finally, S is for stands. There are two kinds of stands designed for motorcycles. The side stand, which is used in normal parking situations, and the center stand, which provides more stability and is useful for doing some maintenance. Some bikes have both. The side stand should easily spring up all the way and not risk dragging on the ground. Same for the center stand if your bike has one. Check to see if they need any lubrication. A stand should never be cracked or bent, and it needs to be properly fastened. It should be able to do its job, keeping the bike upright.
The Clocs pre-ride check covers the basics of regular and preventive motorcycle maintenance. But it doesn't end there. Your motorcycle communicates with you whenever the engine is on or the wheels are in motion, through sound, vibration, and its response to your input. So if anything begins to sound or feel different, that's a message that needs to be investigated further.
Be sure to read through your owner's manual for all the information you need, and get a professional technician at your local motorcycle dealer to help with anything you can't do on your own. Be safe, save yourself from expensive repairs, and get the most out of your bike by taking good care of it, starting with Clocs.